So a few weeks ago, I watched 3 of the most disturbing movies I ever seen. And I can't lie, y'all were frying me in the comments. No, like actually look. So that made me think, what if I just watched some of the movies y'all recommended? And honestly, I did have to skip a few because honestly, I'm not watching this at 4 in the morning. But today I sat down and watched some of the movies that y'all recommend in the comments. And just like the last one, let's not waste no time. Make sure you like and subscribe, and Jesus. So we start the movie off with a celebrity named Elizabeth Sparkles, a SpongeBob type of name, and she does fitness shows in the morning called Sparkle Your Life, which is actually a decent name. And after the set, we realize she is Taj Gibson in 2026. She's still 40 hooping in the league. Her prime was a long time ago, as we can see from the posters. And after a long morning of working out, she has to go pee or doo-doo, but the women's bathroom is out of order. So she goes to the men's bathroom. It's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. And while she's doing her business, the CEO comes in on the phone talking crazy about Elizabeth, not knowing she's in the bathroom. Can't blame him. I wouldn't know either. And not gonna lie, this dude is talking nuclear. He's saying she's washed, she's 50, it's her birthday. She's old, it's time for a replacement. And this dude walks out the bathroom without washing his hands. We seen all the movement he was doing while on the phone. Bro, you're disgusting. And she comes out the stall thinking, am I really that washed? Yes. So we cut to Elizabeth and the CEO at dinner, and this dude is giving us a free mukbang. Listen to this.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Like, bro, the food can't be that good. And mind you, he still never washed his hands. And while driving home, she sees a billboard of herself getting taken down. And then she gets in the car crash. And not gonna lie, she's A-okay, somehow. And after one of the doctors tell her, hey, go home, the young doctor says, hold on, I ain't done. And he starts feeling her spine, which is completely normal, I think. But then he's done. Then gives the jacket back with a little mark on his hand. We'll come back to that later. But in the jacket, there's a little flash drive, which the young doctor put in there, called the Substance, with a number. And not gonna lie, I'm feeling kind of curious. Let's call the number.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Yeah, they have my social security number. And the flash drive came with a card saying, it changed my life. He's lying. But out of nowhere, some old dude named Fred comes up and says,
Elizabeth, is that you?
And it turns out they used to be cool back in 10th grade. And this dude shoots a Wembenyama Game 1 logo shot and says, we should get dinner sometime, and leaves the spot. Fred, you are top tier. I'm taking notes. But back at the crib, she gets flowers saying, thank you for all these years with us. You were amazing.
You were amazing. You were amazing.
She got fired. So she gets the flash drive and starts playing it. And then she throws it away. But then she starts reminiscing late at night saying, bro, I used to be the GOAT. I used to be 2022 John Morant. And now I'm 2026 John Morant. And she starts crashing out. And then she gets the flash drive again. Then she proceeds to call the number. And it gives her a location. And she goes right over there. And her locker code is 503. And she opens the locker. And it's a package with steps on what to do. So first, she injects the substance inside her. Mind you, while naked. And at first, it doesn't do anything. And she thinks it's fake. Until she starts getting woozy and she passes out. And her back splits in half. And a human comes out of it. And from what the video said, a better version of herself. And she looks in the mirror and she's a completely different person. Younger, not old, and in her prime, not washed. And she realizes, hold on, I'm the GOAT. While her old body just sits there. But now it's time for step 2. Now it's time to feed your old body. So she's doing that step, mind you, both of them are naked. But after she takes a shower, her nose starts bleeding because she forgot to do a step. She has to stabilize herself every day. And I'm not showing that part because I like posting videos. But now in her new body, she's being able to flex again. If she tried that in her old body, she probably would have broke a few bones. But then she sees the newspaper saying that they needed a replacement for Elizabeth Sparkles. And this is the easiest layup ever. You're the replacement. And she gets accepted immediately. Look at these two dudes, revealing her new name, Sue. And the CEO comes in and this is the happiest day of his life. Look how he's standing. And now she's the biggest celebrity now. She replaced Sparkles. She even got her own billboard outside the crib. But every 7 days, she has to switch back to her normal self. And it's been 7 days. But back to being Sparkles, she gets something in the mail. And it says, go pick up your refill. And knowing that, she goes immediately. Wastes no time. But now it's been another 7 days. And now she's back to being Sue. But besides walking in the bathroom and seeing the body every time, she breaks the wall and puts her old body back in the wall. Now making it a door. But some dude knocks on the door and says, hey, Sparkles, get out here, man. You're making too much noise. But when she opens the door, this dude folds immediately. And she says Sparkles moved out. And the dude doesn't care about none of that. He shoots a half court saying, hey, we can have drinks in my plate. But then she takes the whole painting down of Elizabeth and puts it in a room with her, leaving everything about Elizabeth in that one room. But after a long day of work, it's time for her to go party. But the 7 days is almost up. She barely has any food left. So she says, hey, just give me a little minute, I'll be right back. And she comes back late at night with some dude and starts bleeding all over him because it's been over 7 days. But then she switches back, but a little bit late. And there's consequences when you're late. And as we can see, when Sparkles comes back, her finger is looking weird. She got a witch demon type of finger.
It's hideous.
She even tries to wash it off and it's not working. That's you, bro. It's not coming off. So she calls the company and says, yo, how do I get this off my finger? And they say, nah, it doesn't work like that. Either you got to cancel the whole whole entire experience, or you gotta deal with your finger. And she says no, obviously. But while she's cleaning up, she sees herself on the TV, and she starts getting jealous of her own self. Like, bro, that's you, but that's not you. Now, while Sparkles is getting some eats, she sees a man, and on his hand, it's the same mark that doctor had. And now she's putting the dots together. Yo, bro, he doing the same method I'm doing. He's method stealing. And he has the audacity saying, yeah, these 7 days are long, ain't they? And has the audacity to wink after. And she leaves immediately. But now she's kind of going crazy, even bumping into old biker dude. But now she decides to call Fred and sets up dinner with him. And now she's trying to get nice to look good for Fred, out of all people. But then she looks at Sue and says, you know what? I'm gonna copy her method and add some lipstick. But now she's finally ready to leave, right? Nah, she's gonna add some makeup. Now, after adding makeup, you'd think she's finally ready to leave, right? Nah, she stares at herself through the doorknob, looking like the grandma from Cat in the Hat, and goes back in the bathroom and starts going crazy. She can't do it, bro. I don't know what's happening. While Fred is just waiting there the whole time. She's not even going. But now her 7 days is up, and now it's Sue's turn. And she comes back, and the whole place is a mess. And now she calls the company saying, hey, she's doing nothing but eating food in front of the TV. Get her gone, please. But the CEO calls Sue in the room and says, you now got a promotion. You're going to perform at the New Year's Eve show, the biggest show for that day, on live TV, everything. And it turns out that Sue doesn't care about the 7-day rule no more. She says, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna stay here for a little bit more. And when Sparkles comes back, Jesus, look at her leg. It looks like that one episode on Henry Danger where Piper's leg was messed up. Disgusting. Even herself as a human is getting old. Look at her hair. Look at her in general.
Good God!
And she calls the company saying, hey, she's breaking the rules. She's breaking the rules. But you always have to remember that both of y'all are one. Y'all are the same person. And while she's sitting on the couch just looking very funky, she decides to get the book that the CEO gave her before she got fired. A little cooking book. But a past recording of Sue on the Black Jimmy Fallon episode is airing on TV. And Sparkles is furious. And on the TV, Sue starts flaming Elizabeth, saying, yeah, she's kind of old. I never watched her growing up. Basically calling her trash. Washed. And she was. And Granny starts crashing out, throwing everything, even covering the billboard. But now Sue is back seeing the mess that Granny made. She gets a bunch of bottles and stabilizes herself for months and makes sure that she's good. And Sue is in control for a whole 3 months. And it's the day before the New Year's Eve show. And she's even with a whole nother dude now. But now it's time to stabilize herself, and she has nothing. Nothing is coming out of Sparkles. And she starts panicking because her show is tomorrow. She doesn't want Sparkles back in control. I wouldn't either, but she has to. And oh my God, look at Sparkles. She is a monster. Hideous. Disgusting. A freak. Yes, you are ugly now. You've been ugly. And she officially calls the company and says, yeah, let's cancel this. Let's get it over with. And now she has to go pick up another package. And she tries to terminate Sue. But then she's like, hold on, wait, this low-key me and I got a show tomorrow. And she switches up at the wrong moment and tries to save her from the terminization. And she actually does. Now Sue and Sparkles are alive at the same time. And Sue looks on the floor and sees that Sparkles tries to eliminate her. And immediately Sue starts talking her down. And at the end, she kills Sparkles. If I was Sparkles, you could kill me too. I don't want to be like this for the rest of my life. But we're not done yet. It's the New Year's Eve show. She still gotta go perform. And while she's in the bathroom, she starts coughing and her tooth comes out. Yes. And when she smiles, she's not the same Sue. You're toothless. And she rips out another tooth and another tooth. She's talking like this now. Dead everywhere. And she goes back to the crib and tries to take the substance again to try to make a better version of the better version of herself. And Jesus Christ. Look at this. This is disgusting. I don't even know what this is. It's a monster. But the monster still thinks she's pretty and still has the audacity to go on stage and try to perform. And oh my God, look at everybody's faces. And they all take turns cooking her. And she starts spraying blood on everybody. One of the most goofiest endings. But it was actually kind of decent. Then she leaves and then melts. Yes, and gets cleaned up. Next move. So we start the movie with a dude named Wallace and Teddy. 2 dudes doing a podcast, living their life. And their podcast rhymes with Totsy Party, but it's spelled like this. And their whole podcast is about making fun of strange people for entertainment. Respect. But one day the dude hears about a teenager who accidentally cut off his own leg while trying to intimidate a samurai. And you know, in Wallace and Teddy's eyes, this is straight peak. This is content. We need this. So for the love of the podcast, for the love of the game, Wallace flies all the way to Canada. So he arrives at the house while declining his girlfriend's call. We'll get back to that too. And it turns out the teenager died. But Wallace doesn't even care about the death. He cares about his podcast. He just lost an episode for next week. He just lost some views as well. And bro traveled to Canada for absolutely nothing. But while at the bar, he goes to the bathroom and notices a handwritten flyer on the bathroom wall. Mind you, he's peeing. And the paper says an old man has incredible stories on his lifetime and adventures. And he needs a listener. He wants to explain these stories. This is straight content for Wallace. He needs this. And without hesitation, he drives right over there. Yes, in the dark. And probably the biggest mistake of his life. Like, bro, you couldn't wait till the morning? But before he gets there, he stops at a gas station and gets a double goat cup for the Slurpee. All the 2 cashiers just laugh at him for being American. So he gets to the mansion in pure darkness, and inside it's an old man named Howard Howe. And this dude is kind of chill. He gives Wallace some tea, and he starts telling all the stories, wasting no time, saying that he was a sailor, explorer, and adventurer. And one of the stories, he says he was at sea, stranded, during a violent storm, like John B. and Sarah, and he was alone until a massive walrus appeared. And instead of attacking him, the walrus protected him, and he named the walrus Mr. Tusk, and they were best friends while he waited to be saved. Mind you, while Wallace is indulging this tea, this is like his 4th refill, while also looking at all the stuff Howard found. But but the tea was a little bit too good until he figured out it was drugged, and he passes out. And he wakes up sitting down inside the mansion while the old man is just watching him. And he looks down, and one of his legs are not there. One of his legs has been amputated. Bro moving like LeVar Ball. And Howard says, nah, bro, you're not going nowhere. We got more to do. So at this moment, we all know that this old man is a freak. And I know that Wallace is on drugs, but he is surprisingly calm about this. Me personally, if I'm still drugged, I'ma still be yelling and freaking out. This dude asks for his drink. But while they're eating dinner, this dude Wallace realizes that, hold on, this dude is weird. He just cut off my leg. And he's saying that a spider crawled on him, but he already know he's lying. Also making up fake doctors and everything. And this dude Wallace yelps for help, just to get hit with a mean slap by this old dude. But now we're back with Wallace's girlfriend, Allie, and she's basically crying to somebody saying, I can't believe Wallace cheated on me.
Wow.
This dude is going through it. After he tries to escape this dude, he got to go back home and deal with this. But she's already crying with another dude. Impeccable. Saying that Wallace haven't even called me in 3 days. I mean, when you put it like that. But then Wallace wakes up in the middle of the room and sees his phone ringing. It's Allie trying to call him. And this dude speeds over here in his wheelchair. But bro took too long and she gave up. So he leaves a voicemail saying, hey, please help. And then calls Teddy and says, hey, please help. But this is the problem I have. You called 2 of your friends besides calling 911. Are you out your mind? But then we cut back to Allie and we see somebody else get up.
Teddy, is that you, my nigga?
This dude Teddy is balling. He looking like 2026 March Luka Doncic. Until this dude Wallace is too loud and gets knocked out by the old man. Told you, should have called the cops. But in the morning, Allie hears the voicemails and goes straight to Canada. But it might be too late because we see the old man completes his procedure and turns this dude Wallace into a walrus. This not even that bad. Good stuff, Howard. This dude even cut off his tongue so he can sound like a walrus. I bet you if he put some seasoning on him and put him on the grill, he'll be fired. But now we cut to Teddy and Allie at the police station trying to get answers. And this dude named Frank says he might know somebody. But I'm telling you, they taking too much time. This dude Howard is teaching Wallace how to swim. And he goes all the way under the water and sees another dead walrus. A human walrus. But eventually, Allie and Teddy discovers Howard's history with some dude named LaPointe. Realizing that LaPointe actually met him before while he was trying to find a dead hockey player. And LaPointe thought Howard was just an old man, just chilling. But little did he know that old hockey player was dead inside his crib. So this dude Howard is a pro. And they use their Blue's Clues to go to the cashiers and figure out where he was going. Because obviously they was making fun of him, even his mustache. And we realized that all Howard wanted was Mr. Tusk back. And now Walrus is Mr. Tusk. And now they're just swimming together while he's naked. Yes, 2 back-to-back movies where somebody's naked. And this dude Howard decides to just fight Wallace in another walrus suit. Ted, Alice, and LaPointe starts rushing in. But Wallace just kills Howard. But before LaPointe just blasts Wallace's face off, Allie says, no! Allie, what are you doing? Just blow my head off. There's no point in me living. I'm a walrus. But then we cut 1 year later, and this dude Wallace has his own crib, still alive, with Teddy and Allie feeding him fish. Honestly, y'all cooked with this one. These Loki 2 bangers. But hey, if y'all want a part 3, make sure y'all like and subscribe and put some more movies down in the comments. And please, no human centipede.
Fuck ass, bro.